Ladies and gentlemen, to discuss navigating Asia from a global perspective, please welcome Josh Landau and Andrew Horton.
I'd now like to welcome Andrew Horton, Group Chief Executive Officer of QBE. Andrew, welcome to the program. Thank you for taking the time today to share some insights on QBE.
Good to be here.
As an international insurer and reinsurer, QBE's purpose, enabling a more resilient future, is a bold and inspiring one. How have you navigated globally, especially Asia, given the vast differences in regulatory bodies, geographic differences, financial states, and geopolitics in pursuit of this purpose?
Josh, it's an incredibly broad question, but if you actually look at what's been happening over the past few years with COVID, geopolitical issues, economic issues, inflation that we haven't seen for decades, and climate, we thought enabling a more resilient future was a very appropriate new purpose for the company to come up with, which we came up with it about beginning of 2022. And then we supported it with a vision of trying to be the most consistent, because I think consistency is really important in insurance, and innovative. We need to think of new risks, insurer. And then we supported that with a few key priorities, looking at portfolio optimization, culture, people, bring the enterprise together, which is sharing the expertise of the company. I'll come back to that in a second. Modernization, which is really important to us, and growth. So if we look at your question about the differences in regulatory and geography and so on, what QB has been doing over the past couple of years is trying to leverage and use the expertise of 12,500 people with a fantastic geographic footprint, because we have a geographic footprint covering North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia Pacific. And we're trying to use the skills we have within the organization to the benefit of the whole company. And specifically in Asia, we've been there since the 1800s, late 1800s. QB is one of the first insurers in. So I think we've been in Hong Kong and Singapore, particularly, over 130 years. And we've been building the business there through deep relationships, consistency, and now more looking at technology and how do we actually get our customers better. So you're right, there are differences in geography and regulatory issues, but I think with the experience we have across the board and the longevity we've been in the markets, we can manage that pretty well. But resilience is front and center to us, and it's a purpose that resonates with us and all of our stakeholders, from regulators, investors, and customers.
That's amazing, and I understand how challenging it can be, again, with all of these different locations in terms of prioritizing. Do you see any material differences from one continent to another in terms of where the focus will end up or is ending up?
Yeah, Josh, I think, it's a really good point. I think one of the things the company's done historically is sort of played to its differences a bit and looked at the differences more than the similarities. There are a lot more similarities, I think, when we're selling an insurance product between locations than there are differences. And what we're trying to do is turn the company on its head a bit and look at the similarities. I appreciate there are cultural differences, there are ways of doing business differences, the regulatory environment is different. But fundamentally, the insurance product is pretty similar, and QB is generally doing one-year policies, generally doing insurance through intermediaries, and therefore we're trying to build on that consistency. And I do believe it's all about long-term relationships. And having been in Asia a long time, we have got some very long-term relationships. And I think in some areas of the world, Asia particularly, and it's difficult to talk about Asia because we've got to look at the individual countries. And fundamentally, QBE's business is Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam. So we're really in 4 countries, of which Hong Kong and Singapore are the majority of it. So we're building on our long-term position and our long-term relationships there.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about some of the new ways of working. How has QBE adapted to some of these new ways from an employee engagement perspective, uses of new technologies such as AI, and specifically, what changes have you made to be more impactful leading through the changes that have occurred both externally and internally?
Yeah, Josh, so of course, COVID has made a massive change to the planet and how they're working. So we had something called Flex at QBE pre-COVID, where we were looking at how do we become more flexible in dealing with our workforce and giving them opportunities to work different hours in different ways. And of course, COVID accelerated that because we went from a virtually whole office environment to a virtually nobody in the office environment. And now we're trying to continue to build on that. How do we build on the benefits of the hybrid environment? And I think it's still got a way to go, to be perfectly honest. There is no right answer yet. We're listening to our people. 3 times a year, we do a pulse survey. We get about an 85% of our people, so that's more than 10,000 people of the 12,500 fill in the pulse survey. And we're getting good information about how we're dealing with our employees, how is the flexible environment working, how is hybrid environment working, and we continue to refine and refine. And while that's going on, you touched on AI. The world is changing potentially from a technology point of view. And I think AI is going to be a game changer to the insurance industry. And I think it's going to be a game changer because we deal with so much unstructured data. And one of the challenges we have is the process and system to deal with that unstructured data and finding the important elements of that unstructured data to actually keep within our system and to use to decide on the underwriting decision or the claims decision. So while we're grappling with what is the best way for hybrid working to work and giving people flexibility to the benefit of everybody, we've now got this major change in technology that is also going to impact us. I think it's going to be all for the good because it's going to take away some of that work that was not value adding, takes human beings a long time to do, and means we'll be able to focus on where are we truly adding value as an industry. So I'm looking forward to the industry really grappling with AI. Of course, we've got to do it in a controlled way, but I'm looking forward to the benefits of AI coming to the industry in not too distant future.
Excellent. I think it's that collaboration between insurtech and companies and carriers like yourself, where the industry really has to go without one or the other trying to disintermediate each other. It's that partnership approach that I think really makes a difference. And you seem to be going down the right path. On that topic, I'd like to talk a little bit about the acceleration of digitization in the insurance world. And as I say, I believe the current environment is accelerating the convergence of insurtech and traditional carriers as a result of the demand for both more efficient delivery of insurance products and more innovation that's needed to address emerging risks. When you take the experience and the capital of legacy insurers and combine it with the innovation and tools of insurtech, as I said, I really believe that we can really achieve almost exponentially positive growth. How is QBE encouraging innovation internally? And what kinds of partnerships, kind of like that I was talking about, are you forming to have the most impact?
Yeah, Josh, I would say that it's been over 300 years in the coming that we're getting this technological breakthrough and efficiency. So it's at last something's going to happen in the industry to make it more efficient and ultimately cheaper to the end client, the buyer, because we are quite an expensive industry to operate in, and a lot of other financial services have become a lot cheaper. So 2 key things I think we're actually doing. We're trying to get controlled experimentation. So we're trying to build this culture of experimentation. As I mentioned earlier on, we have innovation in our vision. So it's really important to us that we innovate. And of course, it's important to the existence of the industry that we rise to the challenge, that human beings are great at creating new risks, and the industry needs to rise to the challenge at ensuring some of those. So we're very much focused on that. We also are partnering with some insurtechs. I think your point's a good one. I've looked at a lot of insurtechs in my career. I'm sure many others have, but they don't really have a lot of insurance experience. So have great ideas of how to automate, improve, make more efficient, make cheaper, but they do need that insurance expertise as well. So I think the insurance industry working with the insurtechs is the best way forwards. And we have a QBE Ventures here. So we have a ventures arm, and that ventures arm is that key bridge between scouring the world of insurtechs and looking at some of our business challenges and opportunities. So it's not purely just investing in insurtechs and hoping to make a return. It's speaking to our business day in, day out, finding what their challenges are, and then trying to match that up with an insurtech that's actually addressed that challenge. And then invest not only in the business, but also use their services to enhance our core business of insurance. So I think we've got this great balance of partial investment, but also use. So let's not just invest in something we wouldn't use, because that's just part of our investment portfolio as opposed to enhancing the business. But your point is a valid one. I think the combination of insurance, you call it legacy insurance, we've got hundreds of years of insurance knowledge with these guys who are really thinking about how to improve and enhance it is a powerful combination. And there's been some good examples, and I think there'll be more of those going forwards.
Staying on that theme of technology, the changing working environment has increased the vulnerabilities and the cyber risks that the insurance industry is grappling with. How important is global collaboration with your peers specifically to address these risks and provide workable solutions?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I think collaboration is really important, not only with our peers, but with other industries. And certainly since I joined QBE, we've worked with our peers, but other financial service companies and other companies here in Australia to look at the cyber risk challenge, because we're all in a similar position. We are trying to protect our systems, data, and everything from cyber. The insurance industry has another important element because, of course, a lot of us write cyber insurance. And in writing cyber insurance, we get good insights into what the risks many of our insureds have. And therefore, we can use our expertise on the cyber insurance front to help them manage risk. And I think the cyber market has done a great job, especially over the past few years, with ransomware attacks increasing, trying to help our clients improve their cyber risk, but we can also use that information for our own protection. So there's a great balance and cooperation and collaboration in the industry and the broader world to ensure that we have cyber resiliency across the planet.
Terrific. Andrew, thank you for your time. You've given us some real wonderful thoughts about how QBE specifically is navigating through some of these challenges that we're all facing today. And I very much appreciate you sharing this information with us today.
Thank you. Good talking to you.